Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here for a quick layout share. I do have process videos for some of these and I will let you know which ones have those, but some of them I just don't. So this one I did for a challenge. I can't remember where it was for, but it's older photos from 23 years ago. And I used the crepe paper collection. What's that tropical one? I can't remember. And kind of did a grid design, and then it called for a banner to be right here. So I had the chipboard from this collection. I created a banner, and then to soften it up, I had this fringe trim that I ended up gluing over the top of that. And I really love how that turned out. This is an old chipboard piece. I want to say it might have been from an Amy Tan collection years and years ago, and I used some pom-pom trim that I had and just glued that around it and just made a little cluster there. And yeah, this was really simple layout. It did not take me very long. Did a few layers here with the photos, but I really like how that turned out. Okay, this is using Case of the Blahs. This is the funniest picture of my my son's dog. Look at that picture. And I titled it, "What You Talking About?" And I did another grid design because I really think that Case of the Blahs collection is really suited for grid designs for some reason. And I used just some cut pattern paper. I stamped this from an Ink Road stamp set that I have. I'm going to do my journaling right here, which I haven't done yet. And then I stitched this heart. I had 2 heart punches or dies, and I made that little embellishment there. And just kind of made this one super simple as well. This pattern paper had something here that I didn't want to see. So I made sure that I strategically placed my elements here to cover that up. So this down here is part of the paper, and this is also part of the paper. So I used a couple of different fonts for the title and used one of the chipboard frames to put around my photo. So I really love how that one turned out. I don't have a process video for this one. To be quite honest, it just, I think I tried to video this one, but it was so short that it was hard to even voice over, so I didn't end up doing that. This one I used a sketch and just a simple design with a banner here, and then just, I think this might have called for more photos across here, but I ended up putting, this is that older Chimel here, and I don't remember the name of that collection either, Here and There maybe. And I do not have any of the embellishments for this collection, so I just made my own. And all I did was cut out pieces here. I cut out these from a pattern paper, and I layered some of them up on dimensional. Used a wood veneer heart. I punched out some clouds, cut out another camera. I added this stamp of a house, and I just stamped that on a striped pattern paper. I am sorry about my dog. And yeah, I really love how that turned out. So this is, my son moved in, that's his roommate, and in Florida, this is them and their dogs. So hold on one second. I'm gonna let her out. Come on. Come on, go on, go. I am so sorry, guys. So this one I love this one. It just cracks me up. There's no process video. It's a 6x12 page because I did not think a picture of 2 empty toilet paper rolls setting on top of each other in my bathroom would really need a 12x12 page. But I wanted to document this so that someday when my children have children and they realize what they put me through it will be documented. So I have 3 boys. They are all older now, 17, almost 20 and 21. And yeah, this is what I walked into in the bathroom. No toilet paper and 2 empty rolls. So I use the Boy Mom stamp set from Ink Road Stamps, and I use some of the emoji pieces from that Simple Stories collection, and I stamped pretty much this whole layout. Look at that toilet stamp. I embossed it with white embossing powder, and I love how that turned out. So it just says seriously, and then Boy Mom, outnumbered, support wildlife, raise boys, hashtag mom life. And I love how this turned out. So, yep. And I loved the colors. I liked the pastel colors, but for this particular boy layout, it worked out perfect. This is one I did for Spiegel Mom Scraps design team, and there is a process video for this one. I used Lush Greenery, I think was the name of the sequins mix, which had these beautiful green sequins. And we had a girls' weekend with a group of my scrappy friends at the beach. And this was the night that we got there. We were all toasting to a great weekend. And that's why I used the shamrock or clover, because it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. And then I tried to implement just some crafty items. The scissors, this paintbrush, another paintbrush down here. And I really love how this one turned out too. And yeah, I titled it Let the Shenanigans Begin. And there is a process video for that one. There is also a process video for this one, and this is a cut file from COAPA Cut Shop on Etsy. It stands for Confessions of a Paper Addict. And we did a big YouTube hop for the opening of that store, and this is the layout that I made for it. And there is a process video for this one as well. I do not have a process video for this one. This is a picture of my son and my husband and my son and I, and this was the last night before he moved to Florida, and we took him out to dinner. And yeah, so I'm going to journal on this one about kind of the traits that he got from both his dad and I, and how, you know, they're different, but how I hope that what he, you know, kind of inherited from us or learned from us will take him into his future. So that's what that's going to be about. I used the Vicki Boutin collection, and I used that Sunray paper, but I chopped it up and then just did a design on the side here. And then I wanted to add in some black and white, so I cut into this black and white paper to add a few more strips. I added kind of a border down here for the photos to lay on, and then just embellished this very simply because I have that big bold title, and I really didn't want to take away from anything else. So I really love how that one turned out as well. These say you are loved and boldly dare to be a pop of color in a black and white world. So that's that one. Here is another one with the Vicki Boutin collection, and I'm absolutely loving that collection. I think it works out so well for boys. And these are photos of my husband, and this is my brother. We were in Jekyll Island, and my husband was so delighted to get to go see where the Federal Reserve was founded. And I just used, actually these papers are not from Vicki Boutin, they're from a Maggie Holmes collection, but they went really well with all the embellishments. But all of the embellishments are from Vicki Boutin. And then these here are Tim Holtz rub-ons. And I just wanted to have a pop of black, some kind of text or something to pop out from behind those layers, just to add another dimension and just some more interest. Then I just put some pattern paper up here in the banners, and I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling down here. So I love how that one turned out as well. This one I did for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club party. I was inspired by a logo, and I have no idea what the logo even was, but it was circles and it was in like this kind of shape. So I went ahead and I used a stamp from, it's a Vicki Boutin stamp. I used 3 different colored of blue inks, and I just made like an ombre effect stamp down there. And then I just pulled from my stash. I used a lot of stuff from what is that one? This is from a Pink Fresh Studio collection, an older one that I had in my stash. And I really love how this turned out. I really think the colors really make the photos pop, and I love to pull embellishments from like older collections and make them work for something new. I love that. So I really love how this turned out. There is not a process video for this one. This one I did of my son and his best friend, my 4th son, and my husband. He took them out golfing, and Steve was just learning how to golf. And I just wanted to make a boy layout, so I used up remnants of my Cocoa Vanilla Studio boy papers that I had, and I really just kind of did a simple design with that banner down the left, and then just pulled all the colors between craft, blue, green, and black and gray, pulled everything from that collection, and this is what I end up with. So I guess my title could be one of several things on here, but I like that. King of Everything, Boys Rule, and Rad Boy. So I love how that turned out. And you'll notice in almost all of my layouts, I do a sprinkling of some sort of embellishment, whether it be wood veneer or sequins or enamel shapes, puffy hearts. And these stars are really cool, and they're really old from, oh, what's her name? I have to think about it. I don't even see her stuff anymore. So this one is another one from Vicki Boutin. I love how this turned out. Did a big title. The challenge was to do a title using several fonts. I think it was a pick 5, several fonts, a cut apart sheet, which is this, embellishment, which is here, and I can't remember what else, but all I did was cut little slips of paper. I roughed up one edge of it and inked both edges, and then layered them up. And then what I did was I ended up, get some more light in here if I can. I ended up using some more of those Tim Holtz rub-ons and kind of put those in amongst all of the papers. And I love how this turned out. And then I splattered with some India ink there. This was another challenge. I do not have a process video for this one either. Our challenge was to only use Project Life cards. So you couldn't use embellishments, you couldn't use, well, you could use enamel dots, that's it. But everything else had to be from Project Life cards. So I happened to have an old set, Project Life set, that had like 3 or 4 of the same card, and it worked out perfectly because I was able to make a banner here, do something here, and get all of this kind of documented. Then I cut up some tags with my punch and made this little embellishment with, and then that's like a puffy heart that I made with glossy accents. I put this is a punch that I raised on dimensional adhesive. I used a camera punch to make this embellishment, and then this Life is an Adventure, I cut that out of a card and raised that up, and I absolutely love this. I think I'm going to challenge myself again to do that with Project Life cards, to try to use them up. And the colors of this collection of cards worked out perfectly for these photos because they're old photos of my first car when I was, I think I was 18 maybe, I can't remember. But I just think the colors of the photos and the colors in the collection were perfect. this is my final layout, and I did not do a process video on this one. I use this cut file, which is from the Confessions of a Paper Addict shop, and I used the what's it called? Oh, guys, it's the end of my workday, and I'm just brain dead. It's an old Pink Fresh, or I don't know. I'll try to think of what this is. But anyway, it's from my stash. I have the 6x6 pad and some of the 12x12 papers still left over. I just backed all of these the whole cut file with different patterns. And then I used up a bunch of those clear stickers from a sticker book. I think a Mambi sticker book that I have, which worked out perfectly for this cut file. And I had a heart, and this one says, love you, enjoy the moment, I love your smile, my life, and then the banner. And then I did another sprinkling, and these are photos of my son. He works for a modeling agency, and he and his friend were just out doing photo shoots with each other. And then I added this puffy camera, and then this little puffy sticker that says currently. And I wanted to back it with another darker color, and since there's so much black going on here, I thought it was okay just to back it up in this corner. So that's what I did. So I hope you all enjoyed this layout share.